Good morning, GERO 200, fall semester 2013. So it's great looking over all your introductory statements, and if any of you are having any trouble getting into the discussion board and going through the threads, be sure and contact Tim Deal, your TA. See him at his office hours. He'll go into Blackboard with you, and he will figure things out. Now remember, you have just 1 week to post. Okay, so we're about a third of the way into our time for this second chapter, and the second chapter is the epidemiology / demography when looking at aging. And so this is all about population analysis. And so your reading about this stuff will then piggyback on what we're going to be doing Thursday evening. And I really want to meet every one of you there. And I spoke with Maria Hankey. And so we're going to have sandwiches, we're going to have drinks, we're going to have cookies, we're going to have chips. It's going to be the full-on spread, enough to cover about 150 people easily, maybe more. So I'll get up there and start talking in the GERO auditorium, roughly around 7-ish. We're going to have the food out and ready around 6 o'clock, 5:36. So please come by then and just hang out by the courtyard, the fountains, and we'll just kind of BS a little bit. And then we'll talk about population analysis and what it all means. And there's a big thing that when you're talking about aging is looking at what the demographers like to call the dependency ratio. And that's, fancy talk, unfortunately, for real basic concept of there are people like me that work, okay, and basically we look at people from 18 to about 65. That's our working population. So we are contributing to the tax base, and because of my annual income, I am then able to support people that are not working. And the not working population is 0 to 18, supposedly, and 65 and older, supposedly. Okay, obviously that's a gray area, but it's a good way of looking at the expenditures that a population is going to have, and expenditures an individual like me would have, okay, covering my children and covering my 92-year-old mom, although my 92-year-old mom is doing just fine. But my tax basis goes to pay for her Medicare. Okay, so this is kind of a way of looking at it. And then the concept is to look at how, for example, when we're looking at a tax basis, how things change, okay? How back in the 50s and 60s, when the dependency ratio was more dominated by youth, our tax dollars were going to servicing the youth, okay? Now our dependency ratio is now more dominated by the elderly, and so our tax base goes to funding of programs to help the elderly, okay? So it's kind of a really political view of what's happening with population. Okay, so I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you guys on Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. And post away. Not only post once with your interpretation of the discussion question, but also look at other people's postings and comment on them. I will also send you the link to the LA Times article that I mentioned in the question. Okay, so take care. We'll see you on Thursday.